go live. Seven
All
people
right.
tuning in.
Excellent.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, all seven of you folks. And make sure you like this video because that brings more people so we can have arguments in the chat.
Yes, I love arguing with more than seven people. It's good fun.
Welcome, everybody. It is State of the Beanstalk time. It is a Friday. Friday.
Yay.
Do you remember that song?
There was a song like about that girl who sang about Friday. And
It's
then she got so
Friday.
big that Katy Perry was in it as well.
Yeah. Oh, did Katy Perry bring her into a song,
Oh,
or
she
did?
did. She also, yeah. Then they did like a more professional song, right?
Yes,
Of that song, yeah.
man. Like
Where it was just like 99% Katy Perry singing anyway.
all I can think about is this is very comparable to Trump.
What that situation?
Yes.
Oh
Do
wow.
you know why?
Yeah.
Do you want to? Do you
Why's
want
that?
to? Okay. G'day, Hammy. G'day, Alex. G'day, Michael. I think
Hello.
it's the same because remember Trump said, "Oh, I just got a $1 million, small $1 million loan from my father to start my business." And
Yeah,
that,
petty cash.
yeah, petty cash. And that chick who did the song Black Friday, her parents paid for the song to be made. Like it's one of those companies that you go in and go, I want my daughter to be a famous musician. Okay, $2 million, please.
I love how like people with money sound British in your stories. And they're obviously wealthy people are British.
Don't wealthy people have? I mean, sorry, don't British people have wealthy money?
Yeah, don't the wealthy have British people? Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I think that's the stereotype that we have, right? But
yeah,
sadly, I think there is a great deal of financial struggle in the UK because of just how, the corporations have structured their country in a way,
yeah,
their
absolutely.
nation. Mm.
And just to answer Michael's comment there, Friday without lockdown. Oh, Casper, for you to see
Yeah,
the comments, I think you actually have to go onto the live.
I am. I see it.
Ah,
It's
okay,
to my
cool,
left.
cool,
I
cool, cool.
opened it up. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lockdown is well, it's not really lockdown. So lockdown ended on Monday night. Great.
Yeah.
But we are in a state of limitations or restrictions, level two, whatever you might call it, and it's ending tonight. And then from next week, it's just masks in workplaces and limits on people and gatherings, I think. But they're not like
Yeah.
not really bad
It's
limits.
not too bad. It's like 50 indoors and 200 outdoors.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like no more than 200 people outside. We're counting you people. Yeah.
G'day,
Yeah.
Draco. WA is, we had a storm last night. We had smoke the other day before. It's been pretty weird. It's been a weird few days, I reckon. Did you get the smoke on your side, Casper?
Nah. Was it like Snoop Dogg driving past or something?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would have enjoyed it if it was Snoop Dogg, Doggy Dog,
Snoopy Snops.
Snoopy
Yeah.
Schnops.
What happened? Where did the smoke come
I think
from?
they were just doing burn-offs because, in WA they don't like having big
Oh.
fires, so they do burn-offs.
Yeah, yeah. They're like, all right, if we just do little fires regularly, we can avoid the big ones.
And speaking of avoiding big fires, let's not avoid our big fires of topics because they're on fire today. That
Oh,
was really
hot
hard
topic.
to try and connect that hot topic,
I
but
love that. You're like fire topics. How can I squeeze that in?
uh, yes, I have fixed it. Well, Michael says if we fix the popping issue. Well, we don't know because it only happened with Casper plugged in his
Yeah,
microphone, trying to
I
point to
think
his
it's
microphone.
possessed. Yeah.
Possessed. So today we're going to talk about AirTags versus Tile, a soon-to-be antitrust lawsuit. Ooh.
Ooh.
Samsung has hit a new milestone against Apple. And on the gaming side, we've got Ratchet and Clank. Is there a release
Yes.
date?
There is, yeah. It's 11th of June, so it's right around the bend. It's like, whoa, 6 weeks away.
Wow, jeez. And we've got Microsoft revealing some stuff about Halo, which is weird because
Oh.
we all know what Halo's about, but technically they have released it, but then they cancelled it. Is that right?
Oh, well, their plan was to release it alongside Xbox Series X and
Mm.
S, but unfortunately, due to the feedback of the audience when they saw the initial gameplay, they decided to retreat and they said, "Look, we're going to work on it," and then they extended it for a year. So I think the plan was to have it released this Christmas in 2021. So maybe that's an update of that.
Guys, is there any issues with our microphone? Do let me know, because
Yeah,
somebody's
yeah,
saying,
my mic is haunted.
oh,
Absolutely.
okay, so it's not anything issue with him being too loud, is it?
Yeah, is my mic too loud or too quiet or too poppy?
Papa doodle do. And we've got some news about Dexter, the TV show, not the Jack and Dexter game, because reasons.
Dexter TV show?
Yes, news. Have you not heard
Oh,
about this?
no, I'd love to hear it.
Oh, well, stay tuned. Stay
Maybe,
subscribed
maybe
and
I'm
like this
too
video.
loud. And they're like, ow, ears.
And we'll talk about the Blizzard, Twitch, and Riot co-founders just invested in something, something, something. That's going to be
Mm.
interesting. When's the last? Okay, let me ask you this: in investing, do people tend to follow other famous people who invest things? Is that a thing? It feels like a thing.
Yeah, that is a thing. Yeah, when you see big money making plays, a lot of other people follow because, well, the big money's trying to make more money, and
Right.
it feels like the big money knows more than the little money. It's kind of like when celebrities wear certain clothes, then we all mimic them because,
Fair
you want to
enough.
be a part of that. And also you want to be a part of that wealth, I guess.
I apologize for yelling into the microphone. And to apologize, we're going to roll the intro. I'm going to try and move my mic
Nice.
away from my face and scream less because I'm excited. Let's roll the intro.
Me too. I don't know. I mean, my audio is not set up so loud, but maybe just look at your thing if it's like peaking, if it's hitting the red zone.
Welcome back to Solid Gold FM.
Yeah, yeah. So good.
We were just talking about what I did and how I should fix my behavior, and I think I left Casper's microphone on. What is a live stream by not professional people without stuff like that?
I know, right? It just like adds the flaws of humanity because you know how like you see like scripted television and everything's perfection and like the news lady is standing there and she's just absolutely perfect the way she looks, the way she talks, what she's talking about. I mean, it's great if you want to be able to digest the key information, right?
Yeah,
Um, but it doesn't feel natural. Like when you're having a conversation with someone, which this is what it generally is. We're, all talking to each other here. You don't just have like a robot talking at you.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of robots, shall we talk about Ratchet and Clank? Because I'm really excited about it.
Oh, yes. What a segue. Patrick's on fire now.
So maybe I should do this like little tick box or something, like every time I do a good segue versus every time I don't do a good segue, and we can
Oh,
see the
yes.
score.
Oh, we could have like a nice like a angelic like music like oh when you hit it and then like a farting noise when you like fail.
What is with that? People have like little boards with like what is it, soundboard, right? I could use
Oh, sick.
the Stream Deck. I don't know if you can see that. A little Stream Deck.
Oh, you should totally do that.
I used it once for the stream and I never went back because I was only pressing two buttons. Let me
Yeah.
share my screen to the
All right.
desktop.
Share the
Ba-boom.
goods.
And it worked. Look at that. Fantastic. G'day, Osby Drone. G'day, Adam. Welcome, folks. Let's get
Yeah.
into it. So, Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart. Should I play the video? Yes, I should actually.
Yeah. If it like just make sure like no
No
sound.
sound. No sound.
So this was a part of the state of play. Did you get to see this, Patrick?
No, I don't. But you know what I have? I have myself a
Yep.
Casper who can explain everything to me.
Oh, you do have one of those. Yes. Quite handy. So essentially this aired this morning for us here in Western Australia at 5 a.m. and I managed to watch it right before I went to work, and it was everything I wanted it to be, essentially,
Yeah.
and maybe a bit more. It has the look, of this beautiful Pixar-like engaging game, and you get to play two characters in this. As you can tell, you have the Rivet and Ratchet, essentially. Rivet is the lady Lombax, and then you have Ratchet, the OG character.
And she's got a metal arm.
She does. Yeah, I'm guessing that's going to be like part of her like gimmick or powers, and you're in this alternative dimension where the bad guy is essentially like the ruler of the world in
Oh.
this. So the narrator or whoever is introducing this gameplay is just setting up the scene. He's explaining it to you, as you can see in that scene there where they show you like the world and you land as Ratchet there and you start the game. Like, oh, just the visuals look stunning, man. Just the world. The thing is, the world looks so alive. Like there's so much going on. This is what like Cyberpunk should have been
I was just about
when
to
it.
say, I was going to ask you the question. Does this
Yeah,
feel more like Cyberpunk than Cyberpunk itself?
it kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like what I wanted, what I imagined it was gonna be like, with like all these cars hovering around. Like there's so much activity. I don't know if Cyberpunk felt as alive because there's just like a lot of like characters doing things in here, and it's just so many neon signs. I don't know. I mean, Cyberpunk's probably still on par. It's amazing, and it's on its own level, but
Yeah.
it's just Insomniac just kind of nails the open world vibes, and it's unfair to compare because Insomniac has been around for like you know a couple of like two and
20
a half
years.
decades. Yeah,
Yeah.
like essentially, yeah, for much longer than CD Projekt Red.
I was gonna
But
say with Cyberpunk, they brought it down to earth. Like hover cars and stuff isn't a thing. It's just
right,
like, oh yeah, cars are electric or like really shitty petrol or something. Like it feels more realistic of what a world would like fall apart into.
yeah, yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. So what are some of the key things we take out of this? I think it's just kind of cements that people are going to be pre-ordering or buying this day one. There's many, many fans that they have gained over time that are Ratchet and Clank fans because there's been like, I swear, almost a dozen of these games. Like they've had so many in their library now,
Yeah.
and most of them have actually been quite good. So people know what they're getting themselves into. And now this being this, proper PS5 exclusive title, alongside like Returnal, which has like uh, been released recently as well.
Yeah, we'll talk about Returnal too.
Yeah,
I was just going to add, Alex made a good comment. It's like all these games are coming out. Well, sorry, not all these games, but these new games are coming out,
yeah.
but you still can't buy a PlayStation 5.
Oh, I know, I know. I'm really sorry to hear that. But what's interesting is that the sales numbers have come out, and essentially the PlayStation 5 is beating the prior console.
Oh,
And yet
really?
somehow, yeah, yeah, at point in time, essentially they're beating the PlayStation 4, yet they're still getting absorbed at a much faster rate. And hey, maybe like we spoke about over and over again, like a broken record of the elements that are contributing to this happening. And another one is, probably just a lot more gamers are coming into the world. A lot more gamers are
Right.
like being accepted into, I don't know, like society, I suppose, right? It's no longer a thing where you have to hide that you're a gamer. Everyone's like so open about
Oh
it.
my God, I remember. God, I hope nobody knows me from when I was younger in this chat. But when
Yeah.
I was maybe 14, 15, 16, so going on to the period where you sort of start drinking, so like 14.
Yep. Yeah, of
Instead of
course, yeah, 12. Yeah.
yeah, instead of like going out at night or something, I'd be there and talking to the boys or whatever, talking about video games. If there was some of folks of the opposite sex, they would be like, "Oh, video games. Nobody likes that shit."
Yeah, that was always a thing. Like you would fear that the girls that you like or you find attractive, they would dismiss you or they would reject you because you're somebody that is into video games.
Yeah,
I think that was a fear of many men, and look, it probably still is, and but I feel like women have now kind of acknowledged it because A, it's a realm where big money is made.
Oh, now that there's money in there.
So, which means that it helps you to attain
Yeah,
status, and and women are drawn to successful men who can attain status and who are up the hierarchy, who are essentially accepted by other peers, right?
right,
And now that gaming is so accepted by the communities, women love being around, like, I guess, guys who are accepted by other individuals as well, part of like a big community, like a big network, essentially.
right.
So
Yeah,
now
that's a
we've
fair call.
we've all come as one, and that's Ratchet and Clank for you.
We've come full circle, eh? Because I remember
Come full circle.
at the age that Ratchet and Clank 1 came out was that time where it's like, oh, you play video games. Oh my God. Yeah, it's like I play this thing called Ratchet and Clank. It's like this Lombax with a robot, and everybody's just like, the fuck are you talking about? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, you couldn't explain this, but now you say Ratchet and Clank, everybody's like, oh, it's that cute little bunny. Or
you're
whatever.
absolutely right. Like, you're at a party and you're like, "Oh, I play video games." And somebody's like, "Oh, you play video games? Great. These are the games that I love.
Yeah.
What do you like?"
Come
And
into
it
my
just like
dungeon.
brings, yeah, yeah, it just brings people together, right? It's more of like a conversation starter than an ender.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, that's like one of the reasons, like, well, not really one of the reasons, but like my wife does not mind me playing video games at all. Like, she's fairly supportive of me doing that as long as I've got my chores done, as they say. But like, it has
Absolutely.
never come up as an issue or anything like that. Like, I took 2 days off to play what do you call it, Cyberpunk when it first came out,
Yeah.
and there was no issue about it. Like, there wasn't like, oh, why are you doing that? It's just video games. She was like, yeah, go for it. It sounds great. And I was disappointed by Cyberpunk, but it is what it
I think
is.
you had a much better experience, right? Like you had like the ultimate rig to kind of experience that.
Look, I played 4 days straight. So it was a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. By Monday, I was like,
Yeah.
I think I've done a lot. I think I've done enough to not have to do like straight days of gaming.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure, for sure. So let me ask you this:
Yeah.
this is a game that you're quite excited to experience, right?
Yes. Yes.
Ratchet and Clank. Yeah, yeah. Well, man, in 6 weeks' time, you should come over. We can jam it, check it out.
I unfortunately that is actually what I'll have to do.
Yeah, man,
I won't be
absolutely,
able
absolutely.
to I won't be able to get my own console, and I won't be able to play this game by myself. I could buy the box, just have it on a shelf.
Oh, you could, yeah. You could be like, check it out. Wow.
Um,
It's so one-dimensional.
Michael just said that my microphone popped, but I think it's okay. I think it might, maybe it's a connection thing, so I should just not touch anything, like move too much.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, maybe it's your mic is more sensitive. I don't know. Maybe our mic levels are just not in tune. Probably different, right? Because like when
Yeah.
we're in the setting together, it's quite easy because we just have just the one system,
Yeah.
whereas this gets a bit more complicated.
There's like a Google Meet. There is a streaming thing. There's two web pages, and then I'm streaming like the pages together, and then streaming it back to Casper so he can see everything back,
Yeah.
which is interesting. Michael also said,
Yeah.
"Do you remember the game Factorio?"
Oh, I thought it was a great concept. The first time you introduced me to it, I remember you were
Yeah,
like, dude, this game called Factorio. And I started playing it. At first I was like, I don't get it. But then I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing.
it's such a time sink. It's
Yeah.
incredible. I think overall one of those. I don't know how many hours I sunk into it, but I sunk a lot. But then I don't know if you remember. I found that 3D version of it where it was like this beautiful lush
Yeah.
like thing, and it played it out exactly like Factorio, but in 3D, almost like a Minecraft. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, when is the due date for this
Yeah.
piece of
So
art?
11th of June for this beautiful piece of art. It
Wow.
actually coincides with, I think, two other key games. One of those being Guilty Gear Strive for the fighting community who love their fighting games. That's going to be a big
Yep.
one. But also a re-release of Final Fantasy VII, which is Integrate, I think, or Integrate it's called.
Oh, okay.
So it's just gonna be, hyped up graphics, plus it adds some additional DLC. So June sounds like it's gonna be one hell of a month, and three big bangers dropping on the same day.
Do you know what else I heard is coming too? The
Yeah.
Last of Us 1 remake for PlayStation 5.
Yeah, yeah, there's talks of that. Then I also heard on top of that is that The Last of Us 3, the script is like written, like the story is there, it's
Whoa.
ready. Supposedly, yeah.
Is it going to be the same characters, do you reckon?
Well, my understanding, yes, it will be like the characters that finished up the story in the second one will be there.
Oh,
I got
okay.
super excited. Like when I heard those news, I think it was this week, sometime
Yeah.
middle of the week, I just lost it. I was like, wow, I love the second one. I hope that the community will be accepting of another one because I know there was a 50-50, response.
Community being
Yeah, the
accepting.
community. Yeah, meaning consumers. But it sold so well, and there are so many people that loved it. I can't see them not doing it, like not releasing it. I think it was just so financially successful because the games were they were bought on retail price, like day one,
Yes.
and then B, because so many of them were purchased, like so many were pre-ordered, so many were purchased. I mean, like I was one of them. Like we played it on day
Day
one,
two?
didn't we?
Two? Or
I
one?
think day one.
Was
Like
it a Friday?
I think so, maybe a Friday. Like I literally went to pick it up. I came home and I installed it, and we both sat down and started playing it.
Yeah, I do remember the little
Yeah.
boat on the water
Oh,
was
the
the
boat.
first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. We did a stream. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh God, it's just so cool.
What,
But yeah,
so, okay, number three comes along. Obviously, number two had a bit of a shell shock for everyone. It just completely threw everybody, off about
yeah,
things. I'm not going to spoil it if anybody hasn't played it. What do you think number three could bring to the table? Because you've obviously played it much better.
yeah. Look, I really sunk my teeth into the story, and I probably would even play it again if they had like a re-release for the PS5 with some 60 FPS and like true 4K visuals.
Mm-mm.
It was it was like a story gripped me so hard in a game. Like it's never done that to me before. I think the one and only other game was Heavy Rain that did that to me, right? And so what do I think they're going to do with this one? There are still some loose ends that they can tie.
Yeah.
Plus, there's always the possibility of adding new characters in a game. The writer has endless possibilities with where he wants to take it, where he wants to go with it. Obviously, we have the key protagonist from the first one. There is still that one key stage in life that they can be presented, right? So we had like Ellie. We're gonna talk like just briefly say about Ellie. Like in the first one, she was pretty much still kind of like a child,
Sure.
like 12-year-old, 14-year-old, or however she's a teenager. And then like just getting into that adulthood in the second one, being 19 years old. And then we could see her as like a grown woman, like in her 30s per se, in the last one. Now, people talking about this, they said they're not sure if it's going to be a full game. Could it be
Oh,
an expansion to the part two, or will it be like a smaller game, like what they did with the Uncharted game, Lost Legacy,
yes.
with the two women, that Uncharted game?
Yeah, it was like a
It was like a
an expansion of sorts, but
yeah,
not quite. It was like,
like a
you know
Miles
how,
Morales,
yes, I
right?
was just about to say
Yeah, yeah.
Spider-Man. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Spider-Man, yeah. So like that. So that'd be interesting if they decided to go down that route. But I would love a full fleshed out sequel.
I just feel like number two was such a big, like, jump in such an odd direction. It'll be weird to go and do something, crazy like that again. It feels almost like you have to do something unexpected, right? So how do you do something unexpected after you've done something unexpected, right? How many twists can you really do?
Oh, you're absolutely right. I feel that 2 will be the peak with the twist, you know? It's like, okay, something groundbreaking happened,
Mm-mm.
and you won't be able to replicate that in the last one. Maybe you just kind of you tie it all together, you know? Maybe you give us some slight hope,
Yeah.
you know, because I it was a gut-wrenching finale. I felt physically ill
Yes, a
finishing
lot of
that
people
game.
said that.
Yeah.
Let's jump into our next topic. I
Yeah.
wanted to just highlight Michael said if Valve does Half-Life 3 or Half-Life Episode 2, or Half-Life 2 Episode 3, um, that would be interesting. I think the last comment
Oh,
from Valve
yes.
is that they said they're working on stuff, and Half-Life Alyx was the most recent release from them. That was brilliant. I really liked that. That was one of my favorite VR games. Um,
Yeah. Lots of positive stuff about it. And the appetite is there, isn't it?
yeah,
Like to
yeah.
Half-Life 3. We can see it happening. They know that people are just they're so hungry for it that when they happens, the memes will finally die.
Yeah, but maybe that's the whole point. Like, why? Or maybe you don't want to let the memes die. Maybe the memes need to live on.
Live on for all eternity. Yeah, imagine in the year like 2100 when people are still like using YouTube and in the comments they're still referencing Half-Life 3 like like a century down the line. But I reckon it's going to be like one of those Leonardo DiCaprio needs an Oscar type of things. Do you
Hmm.
remember how heaps of people were crying out in rage? They're like, just give him an Oscar already.
What did he get the Oscar for? Was it the Covenant or the um
Yeah, that movie in the woods.
yeah,
What was it?
the Reverend.
Revenant.
Revenant. Yeah,
Revenant. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's the one. The Covenant. Yeah, you were close with that. The
Close
Revenant.
enough. The reason I said Covenant is because we're going to talk about Microsoft and Halo. Ah, there you go.
Hey, segue again.
Yeah, but not that great, I think. And I didn't
Oh,
I didn't
that's like a hybrid? That's like an angelic fart.
So this is probably more exciting for me. So I've got the whole Master Chief Collection on PC. I played through the first one, which was I think Marines. I've never played that one. That was really cool.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna get into the first one, but I think I might skip and go straight to the Halo 2 and then 3 and 4. They're gonna
Tell me, what did you like about the series? I want to know from somebody who hasn't played Halo.
okay.
Sell me on this.
It's not your normal shooting game. I think it's more fun than shooting. It's just it feels like uh, it's it's almost an arcadey shooter without the seriousness. Halo is not a
Oh,
serious game. Like if anybody tells you
okay.
it's serious, I'm just gonna well, okay. The story has serious implications, but to me, especially the first couple, felt childish in their like I suppose even like the characters, the colors, the format. It felt quite childish, and it still feels like that to me. So it's an enjoyable game. Like it doesn't feel serious, but it's a shooter. It's great fun, and it's got a lot of like cool levels. Its gameplay is fantastic. The characters are really cool, and just overall the story is fantastic. So they've kind of, to me, it feels like they've kind of hit all the right notes, and they did the same thing over and over again because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so getting to this generation, we get Halo, whatever it was going to be called, and everybody's like, yeah, but that's like the same as it was before. So I guess we're getting a bit sick of it. That I think that was the reaction that I got from that video, especially the announcement for it, and the way it looked. I mean, that was horrible. So Halo is one of those things that I think on a console plays really well. On a PC, it's too fast because you can just run around like just killing everything because you can be so sharp with a mouse
Yeah, you
compared
can be
to
really precise and just headshot everyone. This game is easy.
yeah, exactly. Well, that's what Hitman. Like I find Hitman way too easy because you can just headshot everybody with a thing. But compared to on a console, usually you'd not want to go for the pistol because you'd want to run around, choke them out or something, or take them out up
Yeah.
close.
So your game of Hitman is like Battlefield 6.
Pretty much. Actually,
Yeah.
that is a game I am so excited about. I maybe okay. I don't want to put all my hopes into this, but Battlefield 5 was average. But
Okay.
over time, like over the last year or so, it got better. but I still can't fathom playing the game and having female screams in my ears. Like, it's weird. Like, it's really creepy. Because, like, men screaming in video games is pretty standard. Like, they die, on a Battlefield game, you have. But Battlefield 5 brought really, like, weird female screams. Like, I don't care if there's
Oh.
females in the game, but the screaming is really, like, bone-chillingly chilling. It's weird.
Now
Like,
that
it's
you,
weird hearing that.
wow. Yeah, now that you mention it, like the screams of women in video games, like when they're dying or getting hurt, it it's like, has it always been there, or is this just something that's becoming more prevalent? And to us, we're like, whoa, that makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's I mean, I've played Tomb Raider, for example, and every time she falls down a cavernous depth and dies, it's not the same.
Yeah, like I feel like a lot of pain when that happens, right? Where like when I'm playing a female character and something happens, it's kind of like it's more impactful.
Yeah, it's nature. But
Yeah.
with something like Battlefield, where you've got 64 players and almost half of them are female characters because the game automatically generates the character to be mixed. Like, it's weird to have like all these screams, and these screams are like really like significant, like as if they're
Yeah.
actually dying. Like, obviously the voice actors brilliant, absolutely brilliant
Yeah,
to
yeah,
get this
good, good,
reaction.
good voice actresses. Yeah,
Yeah, and
sure.
so it's yeah, it's weird. Do you remember a game called Oni?
Is that about ninjas or something?
Yeah, sort of. It had a female protagonist. Great game. Like, around the same time as Tomb Raider was popular.
Yeah.
Oni, it was like a double gun, kind of like a Tomb Raider ripoff, but I thought it was fantastic.
Oh,
Anyway, the
okay.
the voice actress in that game was brilliant. I just always remember it for it. Um,
Wow.
yeah, so Battlefield 5, yeah, wasn't that great. So I'm really looking forward to Battlefield
Yeah.
6. It's going to be modern era, so I think overall the gameplay will be a little bit more enticing. And I'm hoping that they actually put some effort in,
Yeah.
as opposed to what BF5 was a bit of a cash grab, to be honest. Like,
Oh no.
yeah.
I love
Uh,
Alex's comment. He's like, I'm about equal opportunity, so female screaming doesn't bother me. Yeah, fair enough. We need to balance out the screams.
Justin knows what I'm talking about in regards to Oni. Alex says, yeah, Alex, yeah, sorry, you just read that out. um,
Yeah.
do you remember playing Battlefield 1942?
Yes. In cyber cafes
Yeah, so good.
all the
That
time.
was such
It
a
was
good
great.
game. And yeah, Battlefield Fun was
Yeah.
was not too bad. Bad Company 2 was probably my favorite of all time, but I did like 3 and
Oh,
4. I still like them, like no
oh
matter
wow.
what
Yeah,
happens.
I like that. I think it was Battlefield 2. I enjoyed that. That was like in the modern day setting. So I was like, ooh, this is cool.
Yeah,
Good at the time. Justin mentions about Oni, about a Mercury bow. Do you recall that being in the game?
that's I think what one of the pickups you get, but I think it's like a legendary. It's like a one-time use thing or something.
Oh,
Or it was like an ultimate one. Let me
oh,
Google it, see if I can find it. Only
yeah.
what is it?
Oh, I
Mercury bow.
love the screen. Bitcoin, the big juicy
Mercury
B in
bow.
the background.
Uh, oh, Uni Oni
Oni.
Mercury. There it is.
So it's like this sniper rifle thing
Yeah, it's like a
where,
ray gun type thing.
wow, okay.
Yeah,
Wow, those visuals, so classic.
I know this was such a classic game. Yeah,
Oh, this does give me, yeah, Tomb Raider vibes.
this is the logo. I just saw it before. If I can go back one.
And her
Um,
hairstyle kind of seems similar, right?
yeah.
Or, oh, no, wait, it's not. Is that
Now,
the one, the anime person?
yeah, this is it.
Oh,
Do you remember a anime called what's the anime called?
was it like futuristic?
Yeah, it's futuristic. It is
Oh,
called,
I think I know the
and they
one you're
made a
talking
movie of
about.
it too with Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, you talk about Ghost in the Shell?
Yes, so she looks very similar to the Ghost in the Shell character, except the hair,
Yeah, except
basically.
the hair,
Yeah.
except everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was I thought it was a great game.
Yeah.
Anyway, the sound design was all right, but I thought the character voice was pretty cool. I think it was only in like some of the start movies. I don't know if they talked much throughout the thing, but I mean it's
Oh,
real
classic
chunky and
game.
clunky. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I mean, that looks
Yeah, look
great.
at that face. That looks good.
Yeah, I mean, compared to even today's games, like,
Yeah.
that's impressive.
Yeah, like a
Um,
20-year-old game, yeah.
shit, when did it come out? 2001.
Did it?
Yeah, so 19,
20,
20 years old. Yeah,
20
21
years
years old.
old. Wow, spot on.
G'day, Ethnic. Ethnic says, hey guys, I loved Battlefield 2 myself. The commander squad leader chain of command comms encourage teamwork. That
Yeah,
was
I like that.
incredible.
Yeah,
That
that
was
was
so
cool.
good.
Yeah, no, I did like that. So your thing about it, just going back to the Halo thing. So what's the big news? Oh,
Ah,
it supports 32 by 9.
yes, and that's good for owners of the Odyssey G9. The problem here is that a lot of games don't support it, and I've obviously, it's like, what is it, early adopter tax or whatever it's called, when you buy something quite new and nothing else supports it. I did that with ultra wide, and now I did it again with super ultra wide. So,
Oh yeah, yeah, because you're like a first adopter, like the early adopter.
well, I love super ultra wide. I like width in monitors. Like it's like I really like it. I don't like height because like I can sit there and my neck can go left and right, and I can
Yeah.
multitask and I can see a wide array of the game that I'm playing.
Mm.
But I'm not going to look up and down. That seems to hurt my neck. Like, do you know what I mean? Like we're not made to like go up and down.
We're not to bob up and down. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel
So
like there's less of this movement and more of this movement.
yeah. So it makes sense to have
Maybe.
ultra wide.
Yeah.
So here, let's have a look at this. So this is standard 16 by 9,
Hmm.
and let's not go into it actually looking really crap because I think it still looks pretty crap. Even
Does it?
Skyrim looks better than this.
Wow.
That's
Wow. That's
without
solid
mods,
burn.
and with mods, Skyrim can look 100 times better than this.
Wow.
And
Okay,
then we
let's hope
have
that
super,
whatever they show us will be nice.
and this is ultra wide. So this is 21 by 9,
Oh
and then
yeah.
we have super ultra wide.
Oh wow. That looks
Now
impressive.
that looks, I mean, that'll be fun to play. I'm really keen to play it in that mode. But I have to say one thing. This is something I learned recently. Do you know about when you look at an item? Let's say you're looking at something from afar. Like let's say you've got your, let's say your finger there, and then you
Yep.
bob your head to the left and to the right, right?
Yep.
Do you notice that your finger also moves? Like it moves
What
the
do you
from
mean? Like, hold on.
so
I'm gonna try this.
So yeah, look to the left and to the right. Your finger actually
Oh
kind of,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, because your eyeballs switch focus. Yeah, on the finger. Yeah, so it kind of like it changes placement. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
like it moves around. Like if you look to the right, you're actually kind of moving the item that's in front of whatever you're looking past. It should move around as you move around,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
But in a video game, you don't. Everything stays in exactly the same place, and you're just looking at a different you're not looking at a different angle.
Right. Okay, so they haven't simulated that there's like two eyes the character has. Essentially, everyone in a video game is a cyclops. They have a
Uh,
single eyeball.
Let me find this because I think this is really
Yeah.
interesting. It's called Perspective Video Games, and I think I found it off Reddit. I mean, uh,
But it kind of makes sense. I mean, if they did that in a video game, that would really play on your mind.
yeah,
It,
I'm
it
trying to
would kind of mess with you.
I'm trying to find what it is. It's not eye perspective. It's angles in video games view. Reddit. I don't know if
Yeah.
I'll be able to find it.
Ooh, Ethnic got a new monitor. He has the Dell S2721 DGF delivered this week. And it's 165 hertz. Damn, that's some fast framing. Congrats, Ethnic. Yeah. Yeah, I still haven't really used the potential of my monitor, the LG that I have, 144 hertz. I'm looking forward to actually jamming Diablo on this. I know it kind of sounds sad because, when you have a monitor with high FPS, you want to do a first-person shooter.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Ah.
they spoke about ultra wide in Diablo and the
Oh, and
Diablo
what are
2
they gonna? Are they
Resurrected.
gonna let people?
Well, they have some challenges, right? Because when you have monsters at a distance, there's a certain distance that you get up to them that triggers their aggro, so they come after you.
Yeah.
but on an old, like super ultra wide, they're just standing there. So you can see them and you could probably like shoot at them, but they won't come at you. So essentially, currently the game is broken if you have like ultra wide usage. So they need to actually like somehow increase the radius of aggro in that game. Are you doing some research on
I,
this
no, I'm trying
eyeball
to
thing?
find this thing and I can't find it.
Yeah,
I should stop looking at. It's really weird. It's actually
yeah,
inside the game engine. You can actually change and more video game creators should use it, but they don't,
yeah,
which is a shame. Um, yeah, the dominant eye, yeah, but it's more
yeah,
like I don't know how it's really hard to describe, but I watched a video of the guy going,
yeah,
this is when you're in a video game and you look around, like if I'm holding a gun and I'm looking
yeah,
around, like a first person shooter, all the objects stay in the exact same positions as I swivel around. But when he
yeah,
turned on this weird perspective mode, which is what we look in the real world, if I saw a chair in front of a table, as I move around, the chair's perspective is sort of moving at the same time because the chair is
yeah.
closer and I'm not a flat image. I'm not a camera that's looking straight at it and that's just
Correct.
looking away. It should actually change placement because my head is moving. Because
Yeah,
I'm a
correct. And it's because you have two cameras, essentially your eyes. And it's like changing cameras, like when you turn, or depending on what angle you are to the chair. Like
correct.
you'd have to be perfectly looking at the chair, and as you turn, your head would be turning perfectly, and then you'd have what video games do, but as a human being, you kind of walk and you turn your head, and so one eyeball sees less, the other one sees more. So it's
That's right. It's
yeah,
three
yeah,
dimensional, right? And it's something that
yeah.
video games. There's some games that have it subtly, and sometimes you go, wow, that looks really weird. Like it looks really funky. But anyway, if I ever find it, I'll tweet it out or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ethnic says, thanks, guys. Pat, I think the change in position of objects also has to do with your dominant eye. Yes, yes, it does. So
That's
obviously,
interesting. Yeah.
it depends. Like, you know how I think there used to be a test to check which dominant eye you have. So, like, you look at something and then you close one eye and you see which one's actually pointing.
Yeah.
Um, I think somebody found it. Perspective versus isometric view. Thank you so much, Michael. That's it.
Oh,
That's
good one,
it.
Michael.
I think it
Nice.
is. Hang on. I think it is.
Perspective versus isometric
Video
view.
games. Hang on. I think that's it. May no, it might not actually be. Isometric is a little bit different. No, that's not isometric. No, no. But it is. Do you know those? Did you ever? Did you ever play like those city builder games?
Like a Sim City.
Yeah, like SimCity.
Yep.
They have
Yep.
an isometric view where you're kind of looking at it. It looks kind of out of focus at certain areas, but it's a tilt shift.
Oh,
Like it's a tilt shift thing. Have you ever
yeah,
heard of
okay.
that?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, so tilt
Yeah.
shift is, I think is across that, but this is different.
Okay.
Let's jump back to Halo. I wanted to sort of say,
Hello.
are you interested in Halo? Is that something that you'd be keen to play?
To be honest, it never grabbed me from day one. It was never a game that
Is that because you're a Sony fanboy?
I I wish that was the excuse I could use, but it was just, you know what it was? It was the aesthetics. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. I don't like the character design. I don't like the world design or the weapon design. Like I feel the designer is is not good. Okay, I'm just gonna put it out there. I feel like they
Wow.
glorified this guy who started it, and he's definitely overhyped, this designer. I feel he's horrible, whoever designed these. I'm sorry, but that's my personal view and
You,
opinion on this.
you heard it first here. A
Yeah.
multi-billion-dollar franchise. The design is horrible.
Yeah, I feel like it's something that like, like a gaming, like I don't know, like I feel like Coles could do this, you know? And then they do video games. They sell you food and other things.
I
Um,
know what you mean. I know what you mean because, like I said, it
yeah,
still feels a bit childish, even after all these years, and even back then it felt childish. Like it was
Yeah,
a game that, to me, is a first-person sci-fi shooter.
yeah.
I don't know.
I
Yeah,
it just aged poorly, right?
yeah.
And then they have to redefine the visuals and kind of get with the times, and it's just there was something about it. I don't know. I
Let me
don't
find
like the
that
visuals.
Halo Infinite first preview. I want to see that video again. Was it this one? E3
Oh
2018?
yeah, yeah.
Was it there was a 2018 version or was it a different one?
I think you're right. Maybe. Oh wait, no, that's the announcement trailer. So
That looks
it's just
nice.
cinematics. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just cinematics, and
It
it
was
does look
July,
nice.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it July?
Yeah, it was sometime in 2019 because it was leading up to the release of so it would have been 2020, yeah, when the consoles release, because
I mean,
this is
this
the
looks
official
okay,
gameplay.
but it doesn't
Yeah,
look like
yeah,
next
cinematics
generation.
look. But then yeah, when you're in game, it just kind of it still looks like a last gen game that's been ported.
Yes, yes, I agree with you on
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So
Um,
yeah, I don't know, I'm such a visual guy and characters. I
yeah, look at that
love
mouth. That looks
characters.
terrible.
Yeah, it's not the best. No. There was so many memes based off on that. Yeah. Um Yeah, no, I like my visuals. What's a game that I enjoyed recently that I
What's up?
finished?
Actually, Casper, I
Yeah.
don't. Are you a first-person shooter kind of guy?
You know, I used to be. I used to be in the Battlefield days, right?
Yeah.
And I felt that Cyberpunk was going to be the game that will suck me in. And it
Oh, okay.
will still eventually. Like when they do a bit more updates and DLCs and get me hyped, it's definitely going to suck me in. Absolutely. But I haven't played as many first-person games.
What's your all-time favorite first-person shooter?
All-time favorite. Wow. First person shooter game. I feel like I'm gonna really have to think about that one before I give an answer. I did enjoy when we used to play Borderlands, the first one.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
That was pretty fun.
That was great.
Um,
The LAN
oh,
part of it was
Doom.
great. Being together
Oh,
and playing.
yeah, yeah. The LAN party experience playing together was great. I also think like Doom 3. That was just hella scary.
The original, like the older one, BFG kind of.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
one. Yeah, like when the visuals kicked in, like I was scared, man. I was like, the lighting was a thing. Like
Yeah.
they did it so well with lighting.
So
I
good.
didn't realize how lighting could add to the fear factor, and I felt that playing Doom 3. And also the game Fear. I enjoyed that as well. That was really good.
I loved Fear. Actually, guys, let us know in the comments your
Yeah.
all-time favorite first-person shooter. Doesn't matter what
Yeah.
year, but it has to be first person.
Yeah. Well, what
So,
is your all-time favorite first-person shooter?
Battlefield 3.
That was a good game. Yeah.
I did competitions with that game. I played it to death. Like it was
Mhm.
fantastic. Yeah, it was brilliant. Alex says, "How about Rockstar milking the life out of a GTA 5?"
Oh
Oh
my
my
God.
God. So
Never stops.
games out of
Oh,
service, right? That's a thing.
Half-Life 2. I'm
Oh
just
yeah.
thinking Half-Life 2. Oh my God, that game was amazing.
I wouldn't say it's a. Oh look, it's. I wouldn't. Hard for me to call that a first-person shooter.
Yeah, you're right. It's not like multiplayer, it's a single player experience.
And it's almost it's first person, but it's like you got little tools to move things around. Yes, you shoot, but you don't go
Yeah.
into the reticle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, COD 4. Yes, I do. COD 4 was great. Modern Warfare. Was that COD 4 Modern Warfare? Yeah, COD 4 Modern Warfare. That was it. That
Right.
was like okay, okay. Statue of Limitations probably over. It's been 10 years ago. When I was 14, 15 or whatever.
Oh no, are you going to talk about a crime that you committed? I don't think we should do this live on stream.
Look, I think it should be okay. I went to a
Oh man.
I went
I hope you like prison life, Patrick.
I went to
Yeah.
a cafe.
Okay.
A cafe run by internationals.
Oh, this already sounds dodgy.
And I wanted to play COD 4 because it was like it was the game that was popular at the time, and I wanted to play it, and I couldn't afford the game. I didn't really
Yeah.
have a gaming computer, so I wanted to go in. So I wanted to play that game. What's going on? Somebody at the door. My dog's going wild. And I went in there and
Yeah,
I
it's
said
the
to the
cops, man. They're already at your
they're
door.
already here. My dog's turning into a police dog. She's like,
Yeah,
yeah, you're under arrest, bro. I'm like,
I
but
smell crime. That's what she smells.
and anyway, so I played COD 4 and I was like, oh, I want to play multiplayer. And I couldn't play multiplayer. And I was like, what's going on? They had a pirated version of of COD 4. And I was like, bastards. I can't play online because they just pirated the game and set it up,
Yeah,
right, at this thing. I was like, oh, okay. So I brought in a USB stick and I got the file, like the install from
yeah,
one of the PCs, and I took it home and I got it running up in my home. And back in the day, we used to have these. It was GameSpy. Do you remember GameSpy?
yeah. I remember GameSpy.
You could load up a pirated version of COD 4 into GameSpy and then find pirated or like pirate friendly servers to play on.
Oh, okay.
So that moment, so I got that working and I was being real cheeky. Internet was crap. It was broadband, 256 kilobit, down, whatever. And I remember installing it, getting the little, it was like an exe you download from CD Game Copy World or whatever. And
Yeah.
to make it like multiplayer compatible with these pirated servers. And the moment I logged into that game. It was my first person multiplayer experience ever. And I was blown away. I was like, my heart was racing. It was pounding. And I caught the bug, right? I caught the bug to playing first person shooters. And
Wow.
but it's a favorite game, but Battlefield 3 was like peak for me. That was peak. Oh
Wow, yeah,
man.
that would have been amazing. Your first time, like first person shooter, you would have been so blown
Yeah,
away.
with other people, because I played first person shooters, like I played,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of games beforehand. But the multiplayer aspect of another person, I
yeah.
remember to this day the heart pounding, like I just felt like I was boiling over as I was like sitting there like shooting at somebody else who was a real person. Like that was
Oh my
incredible.
God.
Anyway, that
You,
week I went and bought the game anyway. So yeah.
oh wow. You've totally just given me like a total recall moment as well. And I know what you're talking about, that feeling. My very first time was in Counter-Strike. It was that same feeling where I was in a game with all these other people and I didn't understand what the deal was. Like, okay, I'm
Hmm.
in this first person shooter. And then everyone's like, we're all in it too. I was like, you're all in the same game? Like, what do we do now? And it's like, well, there's two teams and basically we kill each other off. And they were explaining it to me. And then when we got locked into combat, I managed to kill like two or three people because I had like an inaccurate gun. I had the machine gun. I thought it was cool thing, and I got really lucky and I killed like two or three of them in a row. And then everyone went wild in the cyber cafe and I didn't know what the thing was. And they were like, oh, well done, you did this thing. And I was like, oh wow,
Wow.
just this competitive aspect, this competitive nature, this like camaraderie just sunk in. It was the most incredible experience.
Yeah, I think Quake 3 was loaded up on my school computers. Oh, sorry, I just saw a comment on from Michael there. It didn't get retracted here, but
Yeah.
he said he was solely responsible for distributing COD 4 throughout his school. And I remember Quake 3 being, Quake 3 Arena.
Oh, that was a great
It
game.
was like 200 megs, easy to like run and stuff like that.
That was
But
200 megs.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it was crazy small back in the day.
Yeah.
Do you did you ever continue playing Counter-Strike for a little while? Was that 1.6 or 1.5? It must have been 1.6, right?
I think so. Was it? It must have been.
Because
Yeah.
it was. Do you remember when Steam used to be this like really scummy looking green?
I'll never forget it. Yeah.
So good.
But it was so amazing. I was like, whoa, Steam. So
Yeah.
cool, man. But yeah, no, I didn't really continue playing it. Only when I went to a cyber cafe with friends.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I worked at a cyber cafe in New Zealand, and in the evenings when we closed doors, I had a bunch of friends come over. We used to play a lot of games. It's good fun. Good fun.
Such good fun. Yeah.
Let's jump into our next topic, and
Yeah.
this one is for you, Casper.
Oh, is it? Oh, yes, tell
Dexter.
me.
So it seems like there was a teaser came out
Oh my
yesterday,
God.
and there's going to be a short 10 episode special season with Dexterinos.
You're kidding. This is amazing.
And it will continue as it left off.
Oh my God,
From
yes.
Is it worth a watch? I have not watched Dexter. I've not
Oh my
watched
God.
one
Okay,
episode.
maybe don't spoil it for yourself then,
Oh,
because
okay.
yeah. Essentially, it like
Oh,
if
it's
it's
just him
taking off where
smiling.
it. Oh, okay, that's okay then. I am so excited for this. You have no idea. I watched all of the seasons, start to finish. It has some cool twists, and
Yeah.
it's just the inner monologue like throughout the series because he's kind of like a sociopath, right?
Yeah.
But you get to be in his mind, and he just talks he talks through these things really well, and he makes us seem like we're the odd ones in a way, like how
Oh, right.
human nature, how human interaction is weird. Like a scene, for instance, would be like, I come into the police, like he works at a police station, right?
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
this, yeah, headquarters in Miami or whatever. He walks in and he's like, I come into the office and I know that if I bring these round sugary treats, like being the donuts, it creates a connection with my colleagues. So like, he talks through this like
Yeah.
about human behavior and he breaks it down and it just makes us feel stupid. But it's like, but he connects it in a very logical way because he's a very logical person. He's too logical, right? His
Right.
like the whole intricacies and interactions of human behavior and how subtle we are, like that's kind of it's hard for him to grasp. So he breaks it down. He breaks down those interactions kind of like patterns, and he does it really well. And so the whole purpose is that he has to hide that he has these tendencies that he needs to feed, which is to murder,
Yeah,
right?
right.
And so the whole premise is essentially that by day he's a blood splatter analyst.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's a genius with like he will walk into a crime scene and he'll be able to figure it out quite well. And then at nighttime, he is a killer himself. But here's the twist: he ensures that he uses that urge to focus it on those that he believes deserve it, also
Right.
known as other killers.
Murderers. A murderer
Yeah,
killing a
murderers.
murderer.
Yeah. So essentially, and it's all because he was taught by his father. He said he designed a code for him. He says, I know you have these tendencies
Yeah.
like that you can't control because he saw that his child, like there's something up with his child, right? Like he ends up killing animals. And then he knows that the next step is to essentially kill a human being.
Wow.
So he teaches him from a young age of what he has to do to kind of to thrive in society, to hide in the shadows, but also not to break the moral boundaries.
Wow.
Great show. I loved it. The ending made a lot of people not too happy. I
Uh,
understand why.
how do you end a show that has built up such a following and make everybody happy, right? Like, I can't think of many shows that had a great ending.
You're absolutely right. And I think the writers they struggled with it. Like they did the very best they could, but it wasn't satisfying. And so maybe this will be the time to redeem themselves.
Wow. I'm keen to see it there. I'm keen to see it
Yeah.
just because of this, that there's a redeeming factor. It's like if a lot of people aren't going to start watching Game of Thrones knowing full
Hmm.
well how shit the ending was, right? Like,
Oh, I love the ending, actually. I'm maybe in the minority, but I loved it.
I think it was rushed and it didn't have the same style as the show started off with. I think they lost the magic, and I think it was rushed without not so much the proper explanation, but they. I think that they were hoping that Billy Old Bob would finish the books by the time they got to the end, and they wouldn't have to write it themselves because he would have written it a little bit differently. And I'm gonna start reading the books now and see how he's going to finish it off once he
Oh,
releases the next one. If
okay.
he dies beforehand, I'm just not even going to bother reading the books.
Oh man, yeah, you'd be so crushed. I agree with the sense that Game of Thrones, they could have extended it out a little bit more. Like it did feel like there was a lot of stuff that was jam-packed in the end.
Yeah.
And overall, like I like the conclusion, but I do agree like they could have just kind of paced themselves more. But because it was so high budget, they needed to kind of fit it in the format that they did because it was so expensive that last season.
Yeah, but people were watching and people were paying for it, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I think, yeah, I feel this is what happened. They just didn't have enough content to do 2 seasons, but they had like a little bit too much content for 1 season. So then
Yeah.
it became this awkward thing.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense. Um,
I like a comment here from Ethnic talking about why Dexter was gripping. I think he nailed it on the head here. He says there's so many moments where you think, how is he going to get out of this?
the
And it's so true.
MacGyver of murdering, right?
The MacGyver of murdering, yeah.
Um, yeah, I was just gonna say, Ethnic says Breaking Bad stands out as a good ending, and I have to agree. I think out of all the endings I've seen in TV shows, that one stands out. I did like the ending to Battlestar Galactica, but my
Oh,
wife
I haven't
didn't.
seen it. Oh,
Um,
didn't she?
yeah, I really liked the ending. I thought it was really clever.
Oh, wow. I think
Yeah.
it's really cool that both of you guys have like a show that you watch from start to finish.
Oh, it was. Oh, I can't remember how many seasons it was, but it was. It's basically a space opera. Like at the end of the day,
Yeah.
um, and we watched the whole thing all the way to the end. How many seasons? Wait, is that the old one or the new one? No, that's the old one. It's a
Battlestar.
remake from like 2004.
Wow, yeah, it's rated quite highly.
Yeah, 8.7. Yeah, 4 seasons, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So it's
Uh,
not huge. Like,
if you're really interested in like sci-fi space operas, this
yeah.
is one of the greatest. They're actually going to do a remake. There's going to be a remake of this again now.
How are you feeling about that?
I just want more.
Oh, okay. So you're
Yeah.
a bit excited
I,
about a
you
remake.
know, people get upset about remakes of stuff that
Hmm.
they've enjoyed, but to me, it's like let's say you've got a video game and then they make a movie out of it, or they make a video game out of a movie. It's like if you really liked it, why aren't you excited for just more? Like even if it's just a little bit similar or maybe not that great, but it's more of the same stuff.
Yeah, like the Diablo 2 remake. I'm super excited.
Yeah, because it's more
Super
of
excited.
what made Diablo 2 great.
Yeah, it's
Um,
just it's a, kind of like a clone, but more beautiful, I guess.
yes. Stargate Universe comment from Michael. That was the most horrible spin-off show I've ever watched half of. It was terrible.
What
Um,
was it called? Stargate Universe.
yeah, Stargate Universe.
Wow, it still has a 7.6, which is
Yeah,
like decent.
it's good sci-fi. Like
Yeah.
good sci-fi, but it's certainly not Stargate.
Oh,
Stargate Atlantis was a good spin-off. SG-1 obviously was brilliant. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, Stargate Universe was pretty mediocre. There was another one. There was a oh, g'day Pog. There was a
Hello, Pog.
TV show called Caprica, at Battlestar Galactica. Caprica,
Caprica.
Caprica. Yeah, it was a spin-off, but it was a prequel to Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, even worse, 7.1.
Yeah, it was how they made all the robots that were in the Battlestar Galactica show. That was pretty good. I thought it was all right, but it's not
Oh.
sci-fi-ish. It's more grounded in the world.
Oh, okay. Oh, that kind of makes sense. So
Yeah.
what are you watching at the moment? Do you have
Oh,
any recommendations?
yes. So a cool show that I watched recently, I just finished last night, was Resident Alien.
Oh, yeah, based on that comic book.
Yeah, that was. So this is based on. Oh, what the hell? Resident Alien. So this was created from a Dark Horse comic, I think it was,
That's
and
right.
it's only like a decade old. It's like 2010 or something, like when the first one came out. But the actor in it is from Alan Tudyk. Tudyk, think that's how you'd say his name. So he
Alan
is from
Tudyk.
Firefly, Rogue One.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
he's got a familiar face.
yeah, so that's him there. So he plays the alien in this, and it's it's brilliant. Like if you like, oh man, what does it compare to? Okay, it compares to a game called Destroy All Humans. That's what it compares to. Um,
Oh,
but I think it's really good.
yeah,
It's really easy watching. It's not depressing. It's yeah, I can't say anything bad about it. Like, I just watched the last
sure.
episode of the first season and I was like, you can end the show there. I don't care if there's a second season. There is, but I'll be very happy with that. There's no like they don't do this thing with like cliffhangers. It's not depressing. It's it's really cool, really fun to watch,
Okay.
and it's a dark comedy. I'd call it a dark comedy.
Dark
Um,
comedy. And there's a bit of mystery in there,
oh,
as the
absolutely,
genre says. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, absolutely. So,
So, where can we catch this show?
not in Australia.
Oh, no. So there won't be a platform that'll be streaming it here locally?
I
Maybe Binge? Is
maybe
that?
binge. Let me see if it shows up with anything.
Yeah.
Watch now for free on Nine Now. Okay, so it's on Nine. Yeah, because my dad messaged me and he's like, "Oh, it's I'm watching this on
Oh.
TV." So you can watch it on Nine app.
Oh, look at that. We have somebody who loves Alan Tudyk.
Yeah,
Catherine.
because of Firefly. I
Nice.
think Catherine likes him because of Firefly. There you go.
There you
Catherine,
go. He's popular with the ladies.
you really like this show. It's great. I try to get Cass onto it, but she doesn't really listen to me, so that's okay. Did you ever watch the Expanse, Casper?
I did. I think I watched an episode. They were like, it's like a floating colony or something, like in
Yeah,
space.
Mars colony type thing. There's
Yeah, yeah.
6 seasons now. It's I started from the first season. I stopped after second season, I think,
Okay.
and I sort of got back into it, but I haven't finished it yet. But
Mhm.
apparently, it's just gone from strength to strength, like really expanded on itself. Um,
Ah,
the
The
only thing,
Expanse.
yeah, the only thing is the actor that I liked, which is Thomas Jane. I don't know if you remember
Yeah.
this guy. I really like this guy.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
He slowly became less and less part of the show. So yeah,
Oh,
I was a bit like, You know how, the biggest shock was when in season one of Game of Thrones they killed off the dad, Sean Bean, and
Yes. That
I don't
was,
know what I thought. Like Sean Bean always dies. I don't know what I was thinking to expect him
you were
not to
like,
die.
this is the one time where he'll survive, right?
So,
Damn it,
so,
Sean.
so no. So he definitely died, and yeah,
That
I
was a
was quite.
huge shock, right? Like that was when I watched that, I was like, what? Like, how can you do that? And then that triggered like it set the scene for the whole show, that moment.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then finally, it's the other show that you told me to watch.
Invincible?
Yes.
Oh, how good was that, guys? If you do like animated stuff,
Even if you don't,
uh,
to be honest.
even if you don't, actually, there's this show called Invincible. I watched the first episode and I was like, all right, this is kind of like a superhero TV show, whatever. And then it came to the finale of the first episode, and immediately I grabbed my phone and started messaging Patrick. And I was like, dude, you gotta check this out. Like, my jaw is still hanging from watching this. Like, it hits you like a ton of bricks. It does something unexpected.
Yeah.
Um, and then it keeps you drawn in because the characters are interesting. I was genuinely I wanted to know a bit more. Like they were very unique. They were very like them. Like each
Yeah.
one was very much a persona. Like and they built up on it and the relationships expanded. And holy hell, the cast of people that play the voices in this show. I
Yeah,
think it's the most
absolutely.
celebrities we've ever seen in a single
Yeah, let's
show.
have a look. So Robert
Yeah.
Kirkman is part of the creators. So Kirkman is from a lot of other movies, aren't they? Like
Yeah, so
some
Robert Pickman he's a big writer, yeah.
Outcast, the Walking Dead spin-off, and obviously Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And I think what did he do? There was one other
Because
one.
he's a big comic book writer. He did those he wrote Outcast, he wrote Invincible, he wrote The Walking Dead.
Yeah. Was it just
And
The
they're
Walking
all
Dead? I thought I saw his name somewhere else.
um I think that's what he's known
Okay.
for. Like when Invincible and The Walking Dead, when he created those two, that really just like made him huge as a writer, as a comic book writer.
Right.
And so then when they talked about actually creating the TV show and how people loved The Walking Dead, that's where his career took it to the next level.
You
Yeah.
can watch Invincible on Amazon Prime. So if you've got the
Yeah.
$7 a month subscription, you can
Yeah.
watch it there. It's rated very highly, and I mean I
Yeah.
cannot recommend it enough, and I know you can't recommend it enough.
Yeah.
Um,
Just know that it's R18. Like, and that's the thing, it didn't feel like it for the first half of the episode, or like for most of the first episode, but then just know you're in for quite a bit of
yeah,
violence.
this is not a. So if I go back down to the
Yeah.
episode one, which is this one here, how long is it? It must be like 47 minutes. Okay, so
Yeah.
40 minutes feels like any other anime. The last
Yep.
7 minutes is R18. Like, yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah.
this just that last 7 minutes sets the tone for the rest of the show, because because it just you feel like it's gonna be happy, and it is. But yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it any further. I think you just it's great.
Yeah.
Um,
Like I feel like they kind of capture the essence of everyday life in it,
yeah,
like as best as they can. And it'll throw you off in the sense that like when the first episode kind of like it kind of like throws these mid credits at you. So I was
yeah,
like, oh, so that was the first episode, but that's kind of like their intro in a way. So
yes,
essentially, every time somebody says the protagonist's name, the superhero name, the intro thing flashes, right?
yeah.
And it can do it at any time throughout the show. So it could be 5 minutes in, it could be 45 minutes in. Like it's just, yeah, revolutionizing TV.
And Ethnic asked a question: any Oscar-winning films worth a watch? I think The Father is probably the one that's been a big highlight. It's got Anthony Hopkins in it, and it's about dementia. It's very depressing, but
Oh
um,
God,
it's certainly a worthy watch.
it's a
And
tearjerker, is it?
uh, yeah, but you kind of get to see a man losing his mind from a from a point of view of him.
Oh no.
Yeah, and Anthony Hopkins, he's a fantastic actor, and yeah, seeing him in this, I mean, this is probably one of I don't know, I was gonna say one of his last movies, but he's not young. He's getting to a certain age, right? He's not Hannibal Lecter anymore. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
It
Um,
feels like it's like the role is fit for him because he's at the, at the end game in his life.
yeah.
And he's probably still extremely sound of mind.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, of
Like
course.
just, yeah, he has a very robust memory, but still an incredible actor to play that role.
And I think the only other one that I would highly recommend is, oops, not that one. Soul. Soul? Soul. Where is it?
So, so,
Soul. This one here. It's a 2020 animated by Pixar, of course. And
oh yeah, you spoke about that one briefly before.
it's it's incredible. Like it's one of those things where you look back and it's a movie you're gonna get your kids to watch. Just like, was it
Toy Story?
Toy Story, One,
Lion King?
Two, Lion King. Yeah, this is gonna be one of those movies. Um,
Oh, okay, I'm in. I feel like I know where you're heading with this. Like does it capture life really well?
it captures life, emotion, and it's just really well made. Like, and it's fun. I wish I could play the trailer, but it's got Jamie Foxx, Tina Fey in it, Graham Norton. Who else is this guy? Richard Ayoade. Ayoade? I think we all know him. That guy.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
the comedian
yeah.
guy. He's really funny. Yeah.
And a couple of other musicians. I think. Yeah, yeah, really good.
Cool.
There's also Coco, but again, that was 2017. But I don't know if you've noticed, but Pixar and Disney have been making these funky as animated things, and they always seem to match it to a cultural background. So this is obviously jazz,
Yeah.
very much in the Black Latin American section of America. Then you
Yeah.
had Coco, which was I think it was Mexican with you know uh, Day of the Dead and things like that. Then you've got I think. There's another one I saw which was South American, which was the bird one recently. So they've been really pumping out these movies very specific to cultures, like very culturally specific. I don't
Yeah.
know if that description makes sense, but I think it's really interesting to see that. Um,
Wow, it's been interesting to see them develop over the years, how Disney eventually purchased Pixar and how they've been on this. I guess they've always been improving, haven't they? I mean, they've had some duds here and there, but for the most
Star
part,
Wars.
duds, yeah. I guess I was just solely referring to the animated, but um, yeah, maybe the last trilogy wasn't the greatest.
I thought the first episode was okay. The second one just went downhill, and the third one was horrible.
You thought it was horrible.
Oh, I hated it. I was like, what is this crap? This is absolute crap.
I liked some scenes in it. Um, the fight scene with Kylo Ren and Rey
Oh, yeah, I
on that
suppose.
on that on that Death Star in the ocean. I thought that was really cool.
It's
When you
cool.
watch it, when you're watching it in the cinema, I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, visually it's pretty gangster, but I don't know.
And the sound effects, oh, so
Um,
good.
Looking at the time, let's check in on the last few topics. I might race through them.
Oh, Pog mentioned the Tick. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I did watch it. It's got the guy from Lord of the Rings, the Frodo.
Which one?
Frodo.
Frodo.
Frodo in it.
What?
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, but
Oh,
I
that
couldn't finish
sounds.
it. I think I watched it on Amazon and then they only released like the first couple of episodes and then I went back and I forgot about it.
Now they have all the seasons. Yeah, I started watching the live action Tick. That's the one.
Yeah.
And the voice of the main character who plays the Tick. How good is his voice, man? Like he has,
It's Patrick
if
Stewart,
you
isn't it?
um, I don't know who the guy is, but like if you have the ultimate voice of a man, I think he captures it. He like
Oh,
embodies the voice of.
Peter Seranovich.
That's the guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh, he just does the manliest voice ever.
Yeah,
It's
he
pretty
does.
epic.
Let's jump into last topic. It'd probably not be
So
too.
Patrick Stewart is the Star Trek guy, isn't it?
Oh yeah, no, it's yeah. I just thought Michael answered your question, but it was a different one.
Oh, right.
So this is a tech one, but I suppose it's a question of antitrust, right? So when a company builds something that it is almost got a bit of a monopoly on it. So Apple just created the AirTags, which competes with Tile, and it's a big company creating another product that competes with another product, right? But because Apple has all these iPhones everywhere, it kind of feels that there's no reason to use Tile because AirTags are better because they have this monopoly of apps. Sorry, monopoly of phones, right? It makes the AirTags 10 times better than Tile because you have it connected to iPhones all over the world. So the idea is that you could be walking past somebody's lost AirTag. If you have an iPhone, it'll notify that phone and say, hey, there's a lost AirTag here. I won't go into the detail of this, but I wanted to ask you, how do you feel like, what do you feel with the fact that Apple, right, or Android, for example, they have a web store that they allow on an Android device or an Apple device, and you can't install anything else other than from that store. Do you feel like that's a monopoly?
Yeah. Um, you as a you as a creator, you've got a choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you'd like your product to be sold. And because their platform is the most successful one, that's where you go, right?
Yep.
So I think like we as the creators play a big role in that as well. Like if we want to put up our little shops elsewhere and start a trend, then we can do that. But I think we just succumb to because it's the most prominent, it feels like it's going to get the most people, and it's well supported, isn't
Right.
it?
And it's
So,
Apple's thing, right? Or Android,
mm.
like Google's thing. Like, why? Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Go on. Sorry.
No. That was pretty much it. Like I want to hear your aspect of it.
It's hard for me to like as an Apple user. I hate the fact that I can't install anything else other than what's on the Apple Store. Like that's frustrating because I want to do. It's my device. I can do a lot of things with it. But on the other hand, I'm also going, well, hang on. I'm buying into the Apple ecosystem. That is the limitation of it. And just because there's only one app store that works with Apple, because Apple made everything from the hardware to the software to the store, it's all ground up there. Why should they let anybody else control or do things to their devices when there's no reason why they should? And does that create a monopoly? Well, when does a monopoly actually start? Is your product popular enough that everybody buys it, hence it's a monopoly? Or when is the point where it becomes a monopoly, right? Because one of the other stories we had here was a Samsung story. Samsung is now outselling iPhones. So is Google the monopoly on the App Store, or is Samsung well, they've got an App Store too, but that installs through the store. Like when does a monopoly actually start?
With an app store specifically.
Yeah, like somebody can come in and Microsoft can come in and make another operating system. They tried that with the Microsoft phone. And yet they failed.
Yeah, look, I think you're right. I think if the Apple Store can absorb most of the developers, then it turns into a monopoly. Like we have to start looking at a way to break away from that and have is it Google Store, Play Store, or whatever they call it?
It's actually the same as Apple Store. There's no different. It just runs on Android devices.
Oh, no. Okay. So what is the equivalent to the Apple Store?
Well, the Apple Store is the equivalent of the Google Store, but there's only two. There's a
Okay,
duopoly.
so that's two. So that's a duopoly. Yeah. So okay, so we're not in a monopoly, but unfortunately a duopoly.
Right. So like to
Yeah.
me, it's hard to understand how does a company, how do you judge it? Like because there's no third player, there's no other person to compare it to, and the other
So,
Android store is also a monopoly anyway.
yeah.
And a monopoly requires that there's no other option, right?
Yeah.
Is that the definition of a monopoly? Like there's no other option?
Yeah, I believe so. Like there's no other option. So in this scenario it would be a duopoly, but it creates an opportunity for somebody to do something interesting. I'm thinking mixing it up with a bit of like crypto in the same way that the Brave browser
Yes.
rewards you for your attention. They could do something similar. So maybe if you engage and download their apps or purchase their apps, you get some sort of a reward token.
Do you think there is a space for another phone, like a Linux phone, or like there is a Linux phone out there, by the way, but it's really bad. Do you think there's a way to even compete with somebody like Apple or Google? Like, because they have interconnected everything. You've got Apple TV, you've got an Apple Watch, you've got Apple phone, laptop, everything works seamlessly together. For somebody else, I mean, the only competitor is Microsoft with Windows, but that mobile division failed, which I think is insane. How could you? I think that was just a bad thing. But like, how do you fight something that has so many fingers and so many pies? Like, how do you remove a monopoly?
Um, I reckon you call Musk, be like, brother, give us an option here. Now look, you'd have somebody come from, I reckon somebody to break that duopoly is going to come from Asia. I reckon there's going to be a Chinese
Yep.
app developer that's going to spice it up in a way that we didn't think about it at all. In the same way that they did with TikTok, right? Because
Yep.
is TikTok Chinese?
It is, yes.
Yeah, there you go with TikTok. And who's the competitor to Uber?
There's heaps now. There's
Who's that Chinese version of it?
oh, Ding Dong? No. No,
It's
no,
not Ding Dong, is
no.
it?
Hang on. I've got it. I've got the app. I've got the app. Hang on.
TikTok and Ding Dong.
No. There's
Their names are
Ola.
similar.
There's
Yeah.
Ola, but there's another one. It's
Yeah.
Ting Tok.
No, I don't
Ding.
know, but is it Ding? Sorry, guys.
Is it Ding?
Sorry about this. It's because the one that you mentioned, that one is like from Brazil or somewhere.
Ola's Brazilian or
But
something.
Ola, yeah.
But there's another one. I'm pretty sure it's Ding or something. Or
Sure it's a Ding?
Uber,
I don't know, man.
Uber competitor. Oh, Diddy. Sorry, Diddy.
Yeah, you
I
were
knew it was
close. You were
Ding
close.
something. There was two D's
Yeah,
in there. I knew it was something like
yeah.
that.
Diddy. Right,
So
right, right,
there's
right.
there's Lyft, there's Curb, there's Diddy, there's Grab, there's
Yeah,
Ola, and then there's local taxis.
yeah, right. Oh, Alex says I'm going to buy a Huawei for my next mobile. Actually, I bought one 3 years ago. Um, Probably the best phone I had. Like, I'm thinking actually of eventually getting a newer one because, phones get tired and the batteries start depleting quite quickly. But yeah, Huawei was a great phone that I
Yeah,
got.
yeah. You know,
Uh,
LG doesn't make phones anymore. I don't know if you heard about this.
don't they?
No, they dropped out of the race.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder why. Like, I mean, their televisions are god tier, and you'd think that having those types of screens on their phones would be a selling
Yeah, absolutely.
thing. Like, just they have their screen technology on point. I don't know. Maybe just maybe it just wasn't as profitable. Too much of a risk.
And speaking of things that aren't profitable, this show.
This show, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, is he really gonna go there? Oh, that's low for
Yeah,
us.
it's low.
Yeah, yep.
Self-deprecation. What is it? Self-deprecating humor.
Self-deprecating humor. Yep, that's what we're all about.
Thank you very much for everyone for joining us today. I had fun. Did you have fun, Casper?
I did have lots of fun. I learned a lot today. TV shows, a great company name called Ding Dong. If it's patent pending, guys, it's gonna be the competitor to the Apple Store and the Google Store.
Yeah, just like
Yeah,
if there was a search engine called Ding, and you just go, hey, just ding it. Just
just
ding
ding it,
it.
bro.
Just ding
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
It's done. Like it's not like duck duck go, you can't just say go duck duck go it. Like that's stupid. Like
Yeah, yeah, just duck, duck, go. It
yeah, or
doesn't
just
sound
Google it.
right.
Just ding
Just
it.
ding it.
Or Bing it. Bing it doesn't sound as good either. Just Bing it. Nah, ding it.
Bing didn't perform that well, did it?
Oh, it's pretty good for what it is.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so there you go, ding.
In any case, friends, thank you very much for joining us. We'll catch you all next week. Same
Yeah.
time, same channel. Oh, no, it might be your house. Nonetheless.
Oh, yeah, yeah, but still same channel,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Just a different location in the television.
Thank you again and see ya. Bye.
Bye. Take care, guys.
All right, I have to skedaddle. I'm not going to be in trouble with my wife.